Hello, I'm the owner of that unmade bed over there. My holiday break is over, and it was quite fun. I ate too much chocolate. I used two different rolls of paper towels. I went through like two. This is like my third one. There were so many messes. I don't want to talk about it. I also put 35 hours into Dark Souls 3. That was something. Either way, it was a pretty good break. I feel pretty refreshed, and now we're gonna get back into making some commentaries. My cat scratched me, so I have a band-aid on my hand, and I hope you guys enjoy the commentary. This is all about Modern Warfare over a year later, and why I'm a big, stupid fanboy for it. Call of Duty is a shallow franchise, and no, that's not a bad thing. Call of Duty aims for a more in-frame style of Twitch arena shooter that's easy to pick up and control, but hard to ultimately master. It's funny that Call of Duty's simple and casual, friendly nature is almost in direct conflict with how unforgiving and competitive it can be. But there is a damn good reason that people have gotten bored with COD over the last several years or so. The games stopped bringing a certain X factor that the older games really stood out because of, despite their simplicity. And that blank factor only comes from a variety of experience, and that can only come from, well, actually, many areas of design. Allow me to share with you a little bit of elementary logic I've put together over the last couple of years. Simple maps equal simple combat. If you remove 3D movement, power weapons, interactable/destructible environments, and specialists, your combat is only going to be as interesting as your maps, or what's on them, or what characters can do with them. So if you can destroy a map, that immediately opens up tons of avenues and as to what could happen in each game. You know, the building might not get knocked down this match, but next match it will. You know, that sort of variance can make the map play entirely different each time you play it. It also opens up things for players to exploit, so that's an important thing. Then you have power weapons. Power weapons create small, soft objectives, which we'll talk more about later, and contestable areas. If you're playing Halo and you know where the shotgun is, it's important to go to that shotgun. If you go there and the shotgun's not there, then somebody else has it. You either hope it's your teammate or you take it away from the enemy. 3D movement adds layers to navigating the map and the skill gap in the combat. You have more things you can learn and you have more ways to traverse this area, no matter how simple it is. And specialist weapons and abilities, or the rig abilities in Infinite Warfare, are a really good example of giving players an interesting experience. Not a necessarily balanced or skill-based experience, but something that they can do every game and potentially take very serious advantage of. Nothing like killing an entire team with gravity spikes to give you a little dopamine in the morning. It's funny, as I say this, I think of Black Ops 3. I really criticize the hell out of this game for its very cookie-cutter map design. It feels like every map is the same map to varying sizes with maybe a single gimmick area. They're very, very copy and paste. But you have specialist weapons and abilities, which adds variance. You have good weapon customization and class customization in general. And then you have a movement system that allows you to traverse and navigate the area in an interesting way, and it also opens up new avenues for combat. Combat changes when you can fly up in the air, run on a wall. That's important stuff. And when it comes to Black Ops 3, those things were new. And when it comes to Halo, the idea of having power weapons is just a simple yet really important staple of the series, and the interactable and destructible environments in Battlefield make each match feel very different from one another and adds a lot of variety and intrigue. So if you have a shooter that doesn't have any of those things and the maps are simplistic, basic, and uninteractable, it's kind of sad. And you see, there's a reason that a lot of people leave Call of Duty to go to games like Battlefield or Insurgency, maybe Rainbow Six. Games with in-depth customization, interaction, complexity, deep metas, more team orientation, realism, destruction. And Infinity Ward had gone down this path before with Call of Duty Ghosts, allowing you to destroy little bits of wall or knock down a gas station. Little interactable environments and map-specific streaks added a lot to the variety side of Call of Duty Ghosts, as well as having complex maps, and despite its crutch perks, a pretty in-depth class customizer. But you see, these things are why Modern Warfare worked for me. It was imperfect and shitty in a lot of design areas, but look, I've bitched about those things all year, and honestly, Infinity Ward lost my trust this last year. But it did replayability right. Modern Warfare maps have desirable areas that are in my mind before I even load up the game. I mean, the map quality is not guaranteed. I hate the map Piccadilly in Modern Warfare, but when I think about Piccadilly, I think about controlling bookstore or controlling top clothing. I will do a whole video about power positions and their importance in an FPS game, and I will actually have some visual aids to go along with what I'm saying in that video. But Modern Warfare nailed the concept of having soft objectives or quiet objectives in each match that you're in. Some game modes really didn't put any emphasis on that. Something like Hardpoint really makes it hard to take advantage of power positions when you constantly have to be repositioning yourself around the map in order to actually play and win the objective. There's a lot of nuance and variance there, and I don't want to spend this entire video talking about them, so we're gonna move on. The reason I'm making this video though is that Modern Warfare's Gunsmith is damn good. It's not well made, but it is damn good. It's hard to express this because when it comes to stats and numbers, the descriptions sort of lie, a lot of things are useless and they shouldn't be in the game, but it's good feel-wise. When it comes to actually playing and customizing and experiencing, it's fun. In fact, the reason I'm doing this video is because I did an I Need a Weapon stream where you guys use the super chats to recommend me classes and I review them on a scale of 1 to 10, and I got this loadout that was so bad, it absolutely drove me to my breaking point. It made me scream. It was like an AK with a short barrel, no stock, sniper scope, 75 round drum mag, I believe Red Samurai donated to make me use it. My god, it was miserable. But it was unique. He found a way to make it heavy as shit despite having the short barrel and no stock. So really it was just a bad bullet velocity, bad recoil control, hard to aim, shitty piece of fuck.
No, it actually, you know what? This gets a 0. You actually made something I don't want to use. And one of my favorite builds is a sniper scope, or variable zoom scope, I should say, but still, high zoom scope AK. You made me hate that. This makes me hate myself. You can't get a kill with this.
I hated it. But that Gunsmith allows you to make something like that that's terrible, just comically bad. But then it also lets you make something that's really competitive, really, really versatile. And you can do a little bit of theory crafting there. Picking and choosing, min-maxing, figuring out what feels the best, finding out what looks coolest to you, doesn't matter. Modern Warfare lets you do that. That is a big part of replayability. Every time I load into a game, I could be using the same gun every game, but in a different configuration. Seriously, if you play Modern Warfare multiplayer, pick one gun, play 10 games with it, but each time do a completely different set of attachments. Some builds might feel similar to each other, while others will feel drastically different, and you might be surprised as to what ends up working. Modern Warfare nailed the simplistic, twitch-shootery Call of Duty feel that I love the COD franchise for. But complex maps with interesting power positions, interactable doors, the ability to mount on every surface, fire select switches, meaningful weapon customization, these are the little imperfect, and let me stress that heavily, imperfect flavors that brought so many people back to Call of Duty, or even introduced them to Call of Duty in the first place. Modern Warfare had a lot when you loaded it up. Gunsmith was new, we had 2v2 gunfight, hardcore realism, we had 6v6, 10v10, 32v32. This game was topping consecutive player charts before Warzone was even added. I really want Warzone to be a separate entity from Modern Warfare so we can track the playtime separately. But Modern Warfare has really good abusable freedom. In Modern Warfare, it gives you the impression that you're making it work instead of it just working for you. You're taking advantage of systems that aren't exclusively designed to be abused, and that can make you feel clever and devious instead of catered to directly. Gunfights and engagements aren't contrived and forced. Sometimes you can go an entire team deathmatch with only finding 10 people, which I don't recommend playing team deathmatch for that very reason, but it adds that level of each engagement feels more important when it's not forced, when it's not directed for you. Look, the average player knows that gravity spikes and war machines are easy to use, and even if they enjoy the results of those weapons, which they'd be stupid not to, they don't feel clever or devious when using them. Modern Warfare let you combine riot shields and throwing knives, claymores and deployable shields. Running around with an RPG was a really unfortunately good strategy. Putting claymores on recon drones worked. You could just use a simple assault rifle and shotgun combo, but your assault rifle could also have a shotgun underbarrel. It was crazy. It is crazy. They're sandbox-style decisions, which means that they're not going to be inherently well-balanced, but they are going to be enticing and they're going to keep you coming back. But you see, that's a double-edged sword. In a game with abusable freedom, you could get bullshitted until you don't want to play the game anymore, or the ability to bullshit people might keep you coming back for a long time. My personal thing was I didn't really like bullshitting people in Modern Warfare, but I really enjoyed fighting bullshitters and countering them. I wasn't afraid to throw on the spotter perk and an RPG or the EMP drone to stop campers. I wasn't afraid to use thermites or molotovs to stop riot shield users. The shotguns in Modern Warfare are so devastating that somebody camping inside middle office on Hackney Yard really should be a lot more scared of me than I am of them if I enter their building. Opening up a door with a concussion grenade from a distance and then sending a rocket in there with an RPG, that works really well. I mean, like it or not, Modern Warfare gave players a sense of abusable freedom through weapon choices, map design, field upgrades, perk selection. Abusable freedom is the term I would use to describe some of my favorite games like Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Call of Duty Ghosts, even games like Halo Reach and Rainbow Six Siege. But look, I know, the maps are hard to pub stomp on and annoying to control. That's sort of the price you pay for variety. You cannot really balance and variety. The more variety you have, the more likely things are to get a little stupid. Look, I think Black Ops Cold War has better pacing and a little bit more of a competitive structure, but pacing and competitive structure doesn't keep me interested. The more diverse landscape and design structure of games like Modern Warfare will keep me coming back way more often than any game like Black Ops Cold War. Call of Duty's already known for being simplistic. That's why little things like an opening and closing door can cause such upheaval in the minds of COD players. It's a small variable that's very easy to counter, but my god, is it there? And my thinking is that if your shooter franchise is sort of known and appreciated for its simplicity and clear-cut gameplay, you don't need to further increase the simplicity by removing innovation, by removing intrigue. Like, your game should have something that other games don't have, especially within your own franchise. Like, yeah, Modern Warfare could be an annoying pain in the ass at times, for sure, but it was interesting enough to keep me coming back all year round. It brought new ideas that we had never seen before, and some bad, some good, some needed work. But overall, it's COD. COD's always bullshit, it always has been. FPS games are inherently a paradox to design, because the developer has to make sure you're having fun. Okay, if you're having fun in an online FPS game, likely your opponent isn't having fun. So did the developer fail because now the opponent isn't having any fun? Or is that just the nature of the game? It's sort of a paradox. Video games have to be fun, you know, you're purchasing a product and you would hope the product would bring you some sort of joy or entertainment, and instead you're just upset. So is that the game's fault or the player you're fighting's fault? It's very, very complex to talk about, and I could talk about that for hours, but we don't have that kind of time. That paradox does not excuse bad gameplay decisions, and Modern Warfare makes several of them that I've talked about before, but this video is not about that. This video is a really long-winded way of me saying, Modern Warfare is a COD game I'm going to be returning to for years. To do I Need a Weapon streams for you guys, to private match with my friends. I mean, doing night Hackney Yard with knives, without any night vision, that's really fun. Or doing sniper battles on Grozny Raid or Euphrates Bridge. It's fun, it's tense, it's exciting, and it's more engaging than anything Black Ops Cold War's done. Because Black Ops Cold War, in my opinion, hasn't done anything. This video isn't really trying to just pick on Black Ops Cold War, but hopefully you now have a better understanding of my ideas and my ideals. My ideal shooter is way more based in variety than balance, and maybe that says something about my skill level as a player, and you guys can debate that in the comment section below. But I've been really good at really boring games, and it didn't bring me a lot of joy, and it didn't keep me coming back. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.